You have had nights when your mind will not be quiet. The thoughts keep circling like tired birds around a light. You replay small hurts and big fears in slow, restless loops. You tell yourself you should sleep, and then shame arrives with the dark. You may think worry is your fault, or a sign you are weak. That is a common misunderstanding. Worry is a response, not a final verdict about you. Think of your mind like a room with windows. The windows can be open or closed. When they are open, cold winds get inside. Closing some windows does not mean you are failing. It means you are making space for rest. You are allowed to learn how to close the windows gently. You may have been taught that faith means instantly stopping worry. You might think God scolds the anxious heart without mercy. But that is not what God is like. God is more like a patient parent sitting beside you. The parent does not yell at a frightened child. The parent holds a small hand and speaks softly. The child learns to breathe and rest step by step. Many stories in the Bible show people who worried and then learned to trust. They did not reach perfect calm in one night. They moved toward peace with small, steady steps. Let us look at a psalm that speaks to this exact experience. Psalm 13 says, the writer begins in deep confusion and honest pain and wonders how long the sadness will last. This psalm is a simple cry that feels like your own late-night questions. It shows that it is okay to speak your frustration to God. The psalm does not pretend pain is absent. It names the hard feeling and then turns toward a small trust. That naming is important. It's saying how you feel out loud helps you feel less alone. Saying it to God opens a conversation where compassion comes before correction. Think of your worry as a knot in a rope. Pulling harder on the knot only tightens it. Gently loosening the strands with a calm hand lets the rope relax. You do not have to untie the whole knot in one night. Start with one small strand. Try saying aloud a single honest sentence about what scares you. Keep your words simple. You are learning a new muscle in your heart. Your strength grows with patient practice. Imagine a lamp beside your bed. When you speak the truth of your fear, the lamp shows what is in the room. Seeing something clearly makes it less scary. You can then choose one small, helpful step to take. Maybe that is breathing slowly 10 times, or writing one worry down and then folding the paper. As maybe that is telling someone you trust a short sentence about tonight. Simple actions are like pebbles thrown into a pond. Each pebble makes a ring. The rings slowly quiet the water. You do not have to fix every problem to make progress. The night is a long teacher that coaches you toward wisdom by small lessons. It is okay that you are not fixed yet. You are not abandoned in the dark. God is present even when your words are rough and your prayer is short. You are allowed to bring your messy heart into God's presence. The psalm we just named gives permission to be honest in faith. You can hold your worry in one hand and reach toward hope with the other. The first step is to tell someone. or to whisper to God what hurts. You might be surprised how much lighter the load feels after that small act. Keep the light of honesty burning. It will guide you toward rest. The nights of worry often become the nights of growth. When your memories sting and your mind races, something important is happening. You are being trained like a plant pushed toward the light. Growth rarely looks tidy or fast. It looks awkward, slow, and sometimes painful. That pain is not punishment. It is the pressure that helps roots go deeper. When you face your fear and keep moving, you are building endurance. Endurance is the quiet strength that does not give up. It is like a tree that stands through many winds because its roots go deep. Your small steps, taken again and again, make a path out of the same worn ground. You begin to notice tiny changes. You sleep a little longer. You wake with a softer breath. You remember a comforting phrase during a panic, and it helps some. Each small success rewires your heart toward hope. This is how healing moves. One night at a time, one honest sentence at a time. Growth through difficulty is not a badge you earn once. It is a habit you form with patient practice. Let a psalm guide your heart in this season. Psalm 34 says, "If you cry out for help, God hears you and draws near." This psalm tells you that God is close to the broken heart. It encourages you to taste and see that God's care is true in small, real ways. Taste is a way of trying something out, like sampling a spoonful of soup to know if it needs salt. When you try God's presence, you do not commit forever in one instant. You sample the comfort and see if it helps. The psalm invites you to test kindness in experience, not only in theory. You might ask for one clear sign of help. Signs can be ordinary things: a friend's text, a warm drink, a memory of a calmer time. These small proofs collect like pebbles forming a bridge. Each pebble is a reason to try trusting a little more. The psalm also reminds you that you are not alone in trouble. Many people have walked similar nights and found morning. You can learn from their stories and steady your own steps. Growth often needs community. You might let one person know your pattern of worry. Ask them to remind you of truth when your mind fogs. Their voice can be like a steady lantern when night fog thickens. Do not worry that you will burden others. Most people are willing to share a light when asked kindly. If you cannot speak tonight, imagine the psalm writer sitting beside you. Hear a gentle voice saying your name. Feel a warm presence like a blanket placed over you. Yeah, blankets do not fix a broken bone, but they make the waiting bearable. The psalm means that God meets you in the small mercies. Practice noticing one mercy tonight. Maybe it is the way your chest finally slows for a moment. Maybe it is quiet breathing or a nice memory. Name it and give thanks in a small phrase. Thanksgiving is not cheerfulness forced. It is a habit that trains your heart to see help where it appears. Growth keeps unfolding in your life when you try small, faithful acts. Keep sampling God's care. Keep adding small stones to the bridge that leads you towards stronger faith. As you grow, a simple biblical truth becomes vital. Peace is not always the absence of trouble. Often, it is a quiet presence in the middle of trouble. This truth helps you reframe how you judge progress, where you might expect peace to look like complete calm. But peace can also be the quiet trust that steadies you while storms rage. Imagine standing in a lighthouse during a storm. The waves still crash around you. The wind still howls. But the light keeps working. The lighthouse does not promise the sea will be calm. It promises steady guidance and protection. This kind of peace is available to you. It is not earned by perfect faith. It is given by God, who remains near. Scripture points to God as a refuge we can find in hard times. Refuge is a safe place, a protective shelter. You can learn to run to that shelter in your mind at night. Make a small habit of turning your thoughts toward a reliable truth. One simple verse or phrase can become your shelter in the dark. Repeat it slowly, like a soothing song, and let your breath match the rhythm of the words. Perseverance means holding the practice even when results are slow. Keep returning to the simple truth again and again. Let a psalm bring this truth into your heart tonight. Psalm 46 says, "God is our refuge and strength, a help we can find at any moment." This psalm shows that God is near when the world seems to fall apart. It does not say, "Trouble will never come." It says, "Help is available during trouble." That is a practical promise you can use at night. When you feel a wave of worry, take a breath and say this truth slowly. Use it as a foothold. Imagine a small stone with the words refuge and strength carved on it. Place that stone in your hand, in your mind. Feel its cool weight and let it remind you of stability. Perseverance is like walking along a long road toward a warm home. Some steps feel easier than others. You do not judge the whole trip by any single step. You keep walking. Keep repeating your simple truth. Keep letting the lamp of God's presence guide your feet. In the long run, steady faith builds a steady heart. Let the psalm encourage you to return to God even when your heart wanders. That return is the real path of perseverance. It reshapes your night slowly but surely. Continue breathing and returning. Each faithful turn brings the night closer to morning. There is a gentle warning that sometimes helps us refocus our hearts. Worry can become a habit that steals attention from the one who heals. When you spend long hours tangled in anxious thoughts, your mind becomes practiced in fear. That habit grows stronger with use. Yet you will want to shift your attention towards someone stronger than your worry. That shift is not a law that shames you. It is an invitation to rest your mind on a person who cares. The Bible often points not just to rules, but to a living guide who walks with you. Turning to Jesus means looking at a steady presence, like fixing your eyes on a north star. The star does not move for the traveler. It helps the traveler find direction. You can practice looking at that steady point when your thoughts pull you toward darkness. The warning is gentle. Do not let worry become your primary teacher. Let Jesus be your guide instead. He teaches through patience, presence, and kindness. In Scripture, we find words that help this focus. They remind you to trust a strong and loving hand. Let a psalm clear this path tonight. Psalm 27 says, "Seek my face and do not hide, for God is light and shelter in hard times." This psalm speaks simply about keeping your eyes on God in the face of fear. It is an invitation to focusing on a loving guide when shadows crowd around you. The psalm's words are like a compass for the anxious heart. When worry points you toward dark thoughts, lift your eyes and look toward the light. Imagine a lantern in your hands that you can raise to head height. Raising it helps you see the path clearly. The act of lifting the lantern is a small spiritual exercise you can do in bed. Breathe in slowly and think of a comforting image of Jesus as light or as a caring friend. Breathe out and release some tension. Repeat this simple act 3 or 4 times. Each time, you will feel a tiny shift in your attention. Overnight, the act becomes a new pattern. The warning helps you notice when worry steals your focus. Notice the thought, label it gently as worry, and then move your gaze toward Jesus. You are learning a new habit of attention. Habits matter because they shape the life you live. Be patient with yourself while retraining your attention. The psalm encourages you to seek in small steps. You do not need to force sudden perfection. Little acts of turning your attention create steady change. Keep practicing the lamp exercise and the gentle breathing until they feel natural. Your heart will learn to rest more often in the light than in the shadow. The refining process is a peaceful kind of work. God uses seasons of difficulty like a blacksmith uses heat. The metal does not like the fire, but the fire makes it stronger. This refining is not cruel. It is a careful art that shapes you slowly. The goal is not to break you, but to make you useful and steady. You will feel stretched and uncomfortable sometimes. The feelings do not mean you are forsaken. They mean you are being formed. Think of a potter working with clay. The clay must be pressed and moved again and again. The shaping looks messy at first. The potter's hands are steady and kind. Eventually, the clay becomes something beautiful and usable. In your life, the tools are quiet changes, a difficult conversation, a sleepless night, an honest prayer, a comforting friend's word. Each tool molds you. You may wonder why pain must be part of the process. Pain sharpens your reliance on God and on the good things that matter. It clears away small comforts that distract you from real rest. During refining, the hope becomes a sustaining force. Hope is not naive optimism. It is a firm expectation that good growth can come even through hard work. Hold hope like a gardener holds a trowel. The trowel is a small tool, but it helps the gardener tend the soil. Hope helps you continue tending your heart. A psalm brings this refining work into a personal, tender view. Psalm 51 says, "Create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me." This psalm is a plea for inner renewal after honest failure. It shows that God works gently to cleanse and restore. The psalm's words offer a model for humble asking. You do not need to hide your faults from God. Bring them honestly and ask for renewal. The process is often slow and sometimes repetitive. That is normal for any deep change. Make a small nightly habit of asking for a clean heart. Now picture God's hand reshaping you like a potter uses water and pressure. Allow the image to calm uneasy thoughts. Know that renewal is about becoming true, not perfect. It is about being a person who can be trusted by others, by yourself, and by God. Keep the steady work of asking, listening, and responding. When pain or failure comes, use it as information for the next step. Learn the lesson the gentle hand of God seems to offer. Trust the process even when the timetable is unclear. Hope will grow roots in this steady soil. The refining is shaping you toward deeper peace and stronger character. Now, let us rest in a promise that holds you through the night. God's watchfulness is not a distant gaze. It is a caring keeping that never sleeps. You are not a small dot lost in a vast cold sky. You are known. You are watched over with patient love. The promise is practical as well as spiritual. It means that help is on the way and that you will not be left alone in your worst moments. It means your small acts of faith are seen and treasured. There is a reward for faithfulness, not as a paycheck, but as the deep peace that comes from being known. Picture a shepherd on a quiet hill who watches his flock at night. The sheep do not need to see the shepherd to be safe. The shepherd's presence matters even more when the sheep feel afraid. You can imagine God in that protective role, moving quietly so you may sleep. Let a psalm close your heart tonight with comfort and promise. Psalm 121 says, "My help comes from the Lord who watches over me day and night." This psalm is a straightforward promise of steady help. It reassures you that protection is not accidental. It is intentional and ongoing. The psalm's image is like a guard on a mountain who never tires. It is meant to settle a racing mind with simple trust. You can repeat this promise as a bedtime phrase when worry rises. Say it slowly and feel each word sink into your bones. Let each syllable be like a small hand smoothing your brow. Now, with all you have learned and felt, let us breathe and pray together. Dear loving God, you know my restless nights and every turn of my mind. You are patient with my messy thoughts and gentle with my fears. Tonight, I bring the weight I have carried all day, and I set it down before you. I lay out the small list of worries and name them simply. Help me to see one clear thing I can do tomorrow to help this worry. But teach me to turn my eyes to you whenever my mind begins to spin. Remind me that your presence is stronger than my loudest fear. Quiet my thoughts like a soft rain settles dust. Breathe your calm into my chest and steady my heartbeat. I ask you to clean and shape the anxious parts of me with your gentle hands. Make my heart teachable and my spirit soft to your truth. Give me the gift of small, steady courage to face another day. Thank you that you watch over me, even when I cannot see your work. Thank you that your help reaches into dark corners and brings light. Keep me safe through the night and wake me with new courage to meet tomorrow. I rest in your promise, and I let my heart be still. Amen.